There's been a lot of debate about who shot first. Was it Han or was it Greedo? Now, a lot of people think it was Han, but there is an angle that I have never really heard anybody talk about. Picture this: the Mos Eisley Cantina, smoke in the air, alien chatter humming, a bounty hunter sweating under the glow of cheap lights, and a smuggler who's lived just long enough to know when death is about to sit down at his table. This moment, Han Solo versus Greedo, has been debated for decades, not just morally, not just narratively, but mechanically. Because if we strip away the edits, the memes, and the cultural arguments, there's a far more interesting question in plain sight. What if Han Solo shot first not because he was ruthless, but because Greedo's weapon failed? I'm going to go deep, breaking down the exact weapons both characters carried, their power output, accuracy, and reliability, the real-world inspirations behind their blasters, Greedo's behavior in the scene, and whether a weapon's malfunction could explain everything. At the end of this, you may see the cantina scene very differently. Han Solo carried what is arguably the most famous blaster in Star Wars history, the DL-44 Heavy Blaster Pistol. This wasn't a standard issue sidearm, it wasn't a cheap street blaster, and it definitely wasn't designed for casual use. The DL-44 was essentially the Star Wars equivalent of a hand cannon. In-universe, the DL-44 is manufactured by Blast Tech Industries, a company known for building weapons for soldiers, mercenaries, and serious professionals. Out of universe, the prop was based on the modified Mauser C-96 created by Roger Christian, a real-world firearm known for high stopping power, mechanical reliability, and use by military officers. That choice matters because it tells us something about Han. Han didn't carry a blaster to look intimidating, he carried it to survive. The DL-44 is described as a heavy blaster pistol, meaning high energy yield per shot, greater stopping power than standard pistols, capable of penetrating armor and cover. In Legends material, a single shot from a DL-44 could punch through blaster doors, disable droids instantly, kill most organic targets with one clean hit. This wasn't a warning weapon, this was a fight-ending weapon. Han's DL-44 wasn't stock. As a smuggler, Han customized his weapon extensively. Enhanced targeting scope, upgraded power converter, modified gas chamber for faster discharge. Han needed accuracy in chaotic environments, spaceports, corridors, ship interiors. This means faster draw time, more consistent firing, and reduced misfire chance. Han's blaster was tuned for point-blank lethality. Exactly the situation in the cantina. Greedo's blaster is far less iconic, but no less important. Depending on the source, Greedo is armed with an SE-14 blaster pistol or a compact holdout blaster designed for concealment. Either way, this immediately tells us something. Greedo's weapon was not built for raw power. Greedo was a bounty hunter, not a soldier. His weapon emphasized compact size, concealability, ease of carry. These weapons were ideal for intimidation and close quarter control, but not necessarily for reliability under pressure. Smaller blasters in Star Wars lore are consistently shown to overheat faster, jam more frequently, lose accuracy at close range due to energy dispersion. This is critical. Compared to the DL-44, Greedo's blaster had lower energy yield, less armor penetration, required more precise aim to be lethal. In other words, Han needed one hit, Greedo needed a perfect hit. And perfect hits require calm. Greedo was anything but calm. Let's talk about their behavior. Greedo corners Han, pulls a weapon, and then talks. He boasts, he threatens, he delays. This is not the behavior of someone confident in their weapon. In a real combat psychology, excessive verbalization often indicates nervousness, lack of confidence, reliance on intimidation over capability. Han, meanwhile, does the opposite. He distracts, he negotiates, he waits, and crucially, he positions his body. Han sits sideways in the booth, blaster concealed, arm relaxed. This allows a shorter draw motion, a firing angle under the table, reduced reaction time. Greedo, by contrast, holds his weapon visibly, points directly at Han, locks his arm. Locked arms reduce micro adjustments. If Greedo's blaster misfired, even for a fraction of a second, he was done. Yes, blasters jam. Despite the myth that energy weapons are flawless, Star Wars repeatedly shows gas-fed disruptions, power cell misalignment, overheated emitter coils. Especially in cheap blasters, modified weapons, and poorly maintained gear. Greedo was not a wealthy hunter, he was desperate. Mos Eisley is dusty, sandy, poorly maintained. Sand is notorious in Star Wars. Fine particulate matter can disrupt energy-focusing lenses, cause micro delays in ignition, reduce firing reliability. Does that sound familiar? In versions where Greedo fires first, he misses at point-blank range. That should be nearly impossible. Unless the blaster sputtered, the energy bolt discharged late, the shot destabilized immediately, which is a microjam. Not a full failure, but enough. Han wouldn't wait to find out if the second shot worked. Han Solo survived spice runs, shot his way out of Imperial entanglements, fought pirates, troopers, and rivals. He trained himself to fire first, accurately and decisively. Greedo relied on ambush, authority backing Jabba, and fear. This wasn't a duel he expected, it was an execution. Executions don't require precision until they suddenly do. If Greedo's weapon hesitated even briefly, Han's shot becomes defensive, tactical, and necessary. Not ruthless, not evil, just survival. Han didn't shoot first because he was a villain. He shot first because he was the only professional in the room. Han's arc isn't about becoming moral, it's about learning when survival isn't enough. The cantina scene establishes Han's trust in instincts. Han reads threats accurately, and he never gives enemies a second chance. That's why his later choices matter. He doesn't stop being dangerous, he chooses to be brave anyway. So let's ask ourselves, if you were sitting in that booth, if the weapon aimed at you was cheap, unreliable, and possibly failing, if you had half a second to act, would you wait to see if the next shot worked? Or would you do exactly what Han Solo did? Because maybe the real question isn't who shot first. Maybe it's who understood weapons well enough to survive, and that was Han Solo. If you're enjoying my videos, like this one and subscribe. And don't forget, I have 5 levels of membership. If you go to my main page, you can check them out. There's one for everybody. We'd love to see you, and you get to see extra stuff behind the scenes. And if you haven't seen my last video, you should really check it out. It's really good. It talks about what video in 2025 was my most viewed video. And remember, the Force will be with you always.